Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning,
Hello to everyone in the
Grace.
chat. Hi,
Good
Jack.
morning, chat.
Hi,
Hi,
Piglet
Tube.
Wow, that's a cool name.
I love that name.
I wish I
Who's
could
your
pronounce
favorite?
the other person's name.
Okay. Question.
Okay.
New question of the day, of the week. Who is your favorite Winnie the Pooh character? I'm guessing Piglet Tube is Piglet. What's up, Ryan?
Hello.
What's up? It's lit
feel
this
like-
morning.
I don't really know that many of the Winnie the Pooh characters, honestly. I kind of forgot them. But Tigger is a thing, right?
Yes, Tigger is a thing. I like Eeyore because
Okay,
he's
that's a
lazy, which I respect.
No, he's just reflective. He's reflective and
Okay, yeah,
thinks about
sure.
things.
He's depressed. Relatable. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. Anyone else got a favorite character? Let us know in the chat. Welcome
Rabbit.
to What's Going On.
Hello, everyone.
Rabbit. I don't know who Rabbit is.
Yeah, I was like, that's a character.
But yeah, welcome everybody to What's Going On, the weekly live show where we talk to you about creator things. We are your creators, Jack and Grace. Today we're going to be talking about Instagram and,
of course,
the flop era, I guess.
They're just
of Instagram.
face palm. Face palm of Instagram.
That would have been a great title. The face palm of Instagram. Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about Instagram, Meta, all that business, but I want to get two more animals in the chat. Who's your favorite character from Winnie the Pooh? We've got Rabbit, we've got Kangaroo, and if you don't know, make one up. But yeah, before we get into this, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you are always aware when we're going live. Grace, how are you? I guess we didn't start with that, did we?
True. I'm good. Been traveling, back now in SF, of course. And where are you, Jack? How's it going?
I'm in New York City, as usual.
Good stuff.
Good stuff, yeah. So I guess we can hop right into it.
Dive into it.
Let's talk Reels. I want to hear in the chat as well. Do any of you guys actually use Reels? Do you watch Reels? Do you spend any time on Reels versus TikTok? Let us know, because this is what this conversation is going to be all about. I'm going to share my screen really fast. So give me one moment.
Nice. If you had to describe Reels in one word, what would it be? Put it in the chat. I'm curious.
So, yeah, I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but we have a leaked report that came to the surface from Instagram that has a lot of info that is less than ideal for Reels. Pretty much every piece of data that has been found points to bad for Instagram.
Basically.
All in all, some of the most important figures are that there's less than 10% of the watch time on Reels than on TikTok, 17.6 million hours a day versus almost 200 million hours a day on TikTok. On Instagram, just about 1/5 of creators post each month at all, which is pretty bad.
That's pretty low.
Pretty bad. Also, only $120 million they have paid out to Reels creators. They had said they were going to get through or pay out $1 billion by the end of this year, but it looks like people aren't making enough Reels to warrant that type of payout.
Oh God.
And there are, on most Reels, there's no engagement. There's no comments at all. So things aren't looking so good for little old Instagram. Which
there's also a leaked memo that Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, wrote apparently, that basically he was saying like TikTok is beating Reels on all dimensions important to creator satisfaction. Some of those categories were just like fun, algorithm fairness. So yeah, definitely Instagram Reels taking the hits. It's been a while though. It's not like they're new. Some people think like, oh, but Instagram Reels has just arrived. It's like going to take some time. It's been, I think they launched in August 2020, right? So it's been 2 years, and Instagram is one of like the, if not the biggest social media platform in the world, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. These numbers are pretty abysmal, I think, also because IGTV was a thing even before Reels for years. So like Instagram has had the infrastructure to make short form video like a thing. They've just completely dropped the ball and stopped innovating, and have pretty much copied everything about TikTok. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to remove this. No more of that. Now it's just me and you, Grace. Hashing it out as usual.
Yes.
So something I wanted to start off, maybe this is a harsh question to ask straight away.
No, let's do it.
Is there anything better about Reels than TikTok? Anything at all? I'm interested. Let us know in the comments below. For those of you who do watch Reels, which it looks like there's only one, Ryan, why do you watch Reels? Do you think it's actually better than TikTok at all? Grace, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the question, the like $1 million question, literally, for, or $1 billion question for Reels. And I think there's two dimensions to it, right? There's one side of it is like the experience of creating Reels, and the other side is the experience of watching Reels. With any of these social media platforms, it's like the creators and the audience. And a lot of times those are like, there's a Venn diagram where there's similarities in the middle. And it feels like currently I would say there's not much that I like about Reels more than TikTok. Some things they compare, like they get pretty close. Like some of the effects and filters on Reels are actually like kind of fun. You see people like making a reel they're using the filters, but then they take that video to TikTok. And I don't know, I think it comes down to like the culture of the platform, which kind of starts from the creators of like, what are people actually creating? If they're not creating something that people want to watch, no one's going to watch, you know? And I think that's like where we're at right now, where people just don't want to watch because it's like, why would you watch something that's not that interesting or great or original? Right. So I guess, yeah, that's my vibe. What about you?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think the only thing that I feel like Instagram has over TikTok is that Reels have is that it's on Instagram, right? We have that sort of muscle memory, at least I do, of like open Instagram daily, just to like see what's up. And then, I think like Ryan saying, Instagram funnels me into Reels. Like that's ultimately what happens. And I just kind of keep scrolling, but like, I don't like seek it out necessarily. Ultimately I feel like the content is less, I don't know, in general, I really feel like the algorithm is less powerful or like less unique, and like feeds me content that I'm less interested in general. And I feel the same way about YouTube Shorts, actually. I feel like a lot of times, even though, which doesn't make sense to me because the YouTube algorithm, I feel like it's pretty good. Like usually I feel like they're pretty spot on with what I want to see on my like homepage. But I really feel like the short form algorithms, both on Instagram and YouTube Shorts, are pretty abysmal. Like I'll see, I'm just like not someone who watches sports, and there's like constantly sports content all over like YouTube Shorts and Instagram, and I'm like, what? Like this is not right. Like this is really wrong.
Yeah. And maybe it's like comes down to like the algorithms just they haven't like gotten in there with the algorithms on Reels and Shorts. Like it feels like, I don't know, I guess widespread stereotypes. It's like, cause you're a guy, maybe you'd like sports. So maybe they're basing it off of like these really general demographic things, which I think YouTube kind of started out doing. I mean, Instagram also like historically wasn't at all. They didn't really have an algorithm of like recommendation stuff. It was always like your friends or your followers or people you follow. So I think they're almost like in some ways starting from like ground zero with their algorithm. And maybe it's just a matter of time to like attune it. I don't know.
Yeah, but like it's been years. Like I feel like the Instagram Explore page has been around for forever. So I feel like they should have some algorithm, like, but I don't know, it flops. In my opinion, it's a complete flop.
And I wonder if also like TikTok originally was Musical.ly, right? And I mean, even today, like their whole thing has been sounds. So many of the things on TikTok are based on sounds. The trends are sounds. And I think on Instagram, I've noticed, we were talking about this on our marketing team like a few days ago, but it feels like the sounds on Instagram are not, they don't like the UI or something about creating sounds is like not up to par with TikTok. And I wonder if that's like preventing people from like having sounds go viral or like people making stuff with sounds.
Yeah, it's a good point. And not only that, but I do feel like the audio library doesn't feel as robust. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a shame also just to watch. I guess this is kind of changing directions, but it's kind of a shame to watch like just such a large company blatantly copy features from other social medias. Like it's kind of, I hate to be like negative, but I it's kind of embarrassing. Like why aren't they able to like create something new and fresh themselves? I feel like that's the only way to try and make up the market share back, is to actually like create something themselves, because I don't know. It just feels like copycatting like never is going to work.
I feel that too. And I think maybe that's like at the bottom of it is like, since day one, Instagram Reels as a whole product has just been like a copy of TikTok and everyone knows it. And so it's like, it leaves this bad taste in your mouth as a viewer, as a creator, whoever you are. Like, it's just like, this feels like a fake TikTok, or like, what is that saying? Like, it's like TikTok from Wish or whatever. It's just like a low qual version of TikTok. And I think they're having a really hard time shaking that like kind of perception. But they also just keep like running themselves into the ground with it, of like, they just keep doing it, you know? And so maybe it's just the company's too big now. They're too big. Like the innovation, it's just hard because there's so many people involved. There's so much at stake. Everyone's stressed, and I don't know. I would, it'd be interesting to be internal and see what's going on, what those conversations are like.
It just, I think also to your point, like, like it feels like a copy and everyone knows it. Like it really does feel at this point like it's like a cash grab. Like not only is it copying, but it's like because so blatantly they want to feed us like ads, you know? It really feels like you are a commodity on Instagram sometimes. Like it's too corporate, and like the vibe is like, I don't know, it's not as natural now.
And I think that's my thing with it too, is like when I have gone on Reels, I like once in a while will go back and try it out and be like, okay, maybe it's different. Like it's been a little more time. It always feels like all the videos I see, almost all of them are just like marketing videos, or like people trying to do a trend, but like it's their brand. And I think people on TikTok are like that too, but I think there's more people that are just trying to like, just want to do something random or create something just for fun. And so I feel like, like the corporate businessy vibe of Instagram Reels, like it just, I don't want to see that.
Well, it also, I don't know. It's a completely different vibe. In some ways, I feel like a lot of like TikTok sort of feels like, maybe this is like old speak, maybe I'm gonna like age myself here, but like like a Finsta, like I don't know if people do those anymore, but like you know, like I feel like on your like regular Instagram, people are like, and like posting reels that are either posting no reels or posting reels that are like like show you in a good light, just because like that's what we think of Instagram. We want it to be like our best foot forward. But then on TikTok, I feel like it's a little more like Finsta-y in terms of it's like it's the real you.
Right. Yeah. Like this authenticity feeling of like people just taking quick videos and just posting without editing. Yeah.
Right. I feel like that's probably because like you also like a lot of times making a TikTok, you get like no views, right? Like I feel like you can post TikToks that like really do terribly and like no one ever sees them. So like every time you post something, it kind of feels like it's just going out into the ether.
I think that's the thing too. Like for a while, Instagram felt like you could get like a decent view count on your videos. Like maybe this was like 6 months, a year ago even, but it felt like people were getting large numbers on their reels. And then there was also the creators fund for reels. And I think that is like a huge piece of this too, is like the monetization part for creators. But I feel like over the past few months, it's dropped off where people aren't not getting the same view counts, even though they were like, 6 months ago. So I don't know, maybe it's like, could they just, I don't know, just like circulate more videos faster, like help certain videos go more viral? Because I think that the appeal of TikTok is like you could get really big really fast.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're lacking in that too on Reels.
Yeah, I don't know at all. I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
Paul has an interesting...
it's an interesting story.
Yeah, so, okay, Instagram is shady. Paul was demonetized last month, and as soon as he was demonetized, Reels exploded. One received 840,000 views, 380,000 views, and one received 12 million views. And all my other Reels were getting around 20K views. Now that I'm monetized again, it's back to barely getting any views.
Whoa.
Thoughts?
That's wild. I mean, yeah, I could see that. I feel like people also accuse TikTok of that. When they get on the TikTok Creators Fund, suddenly they have like no views. And I mean, ultimately, because if you're getting views, they have to pay you. Right. I wouldn't put it past them.
True.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Oh, that's so weird. Yeah, wow, that's really shady. Yeah, so maybe it's that, like if you're getting those views while monetized, they have to pay you, so they'd rather you get those views still, but not while you're monetized. And secondly, I also wonder if it has to do with certain things like maybe, I don't know if you're using sounds, but like maybe you're using a sound that like they isn't like legal, right? Or like has issues like that. Like I feel like they have there's like legality reasons with sounds, and like they don't want to get like DMCA and blah blah blah. So I wonder if like there's some of that going on. But I don't know. That's a really interesting story.
Right. Yeah, I remember in like TikTok shadow ban, I feel like people talk about it less, but I remember there was like a period of time where everyone was talking about that, and I feel like I mean, I wouldn't put it past these big companies. They would never admit that, right?
No.
Like, but they're ultimately going to do what they want, and it's like kind of sucks that you have to be you're at their mercy in some ways. So, Oh, Paul said I always use their audio. Yeah, so that kind of rules out one potential idea.
Yeah. I like your idea though, Grace. I think that's really interesting. Like they give you the views when they don't have to pay you. Classic.
Yeah. Right.
So one of the things that we have spoken about on our show before, but like I feel like my answer has kind of changed.
Oh, interesting.
Is this the beginning of the end for Instagram? Curious about your guys' thoughts. Leave it in the chat below, or the chat to the side, I suppose. But yeah, I feel like in shows past, when answering this question, I really feel like I was like, oh, like Instagram's too big to fail at this point, right? But I don't know. Like, I don't really know if too big to fail exists. And especially because like, I feel like, the more like 6 months ago, I was like, nah, it's Instagram. But like 6 months is a long time in the creator space. People's attention spans move fast. And like, they're not doing anything innovative or interesting. And I feel like it's like I said earlier, like it feels embarrassing watching them do that, so it makes me like not want to go on the platform.
You're just like, you can't do it out of secondhand cringe.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, like stop, just stop. Like make one good thing, stick with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anything's too big to fail, right? Like there's so many times in history where people have said that, like Titanic, I don't know, all these like huge corporations
the
that like
Titanic.
like I mean, right? Like that was its
You're gonna
whole
talk
thing.
about like websites.
I mean, that's like a very like OG example,
Literal.
you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, there's so many like websites or just generally companies that were huge decades ago. They're gone now, right? So I definitely don't think it's too big to fail. I think, especially because they're betting so hard on this like Metaverse thing, they're sinking billions of dollars into it. You know, that like might not pan out. And then it's like, where are you at? Like you just spent like your whole net worth on that. And also this bet of short form video, and it's like not working out. So I'm not super optimistic for Instagram. I think like part of this too is like originally it was a photos app, and so the whole product, the whole experience, everyone like was geared towards that kind of purpose. And now you're trying to shift it. You're trying to make fetch happen by like moving it all over to short form video. And TikTok didn't have that problem, right? Like they were always short form video. Like if they were to go back to photos or something, I think people would react similarly. It's like, why are you trying to make this happen? This is like not what we were here for.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna have to do something really just like addictive, basically, where it gets to the point where like the content is just so addictive that you can't stop watching, which is kind of sad. And I think that's kind of what TikTok and like YouTube and a lot of social media platforms are based around, is just like how hooked can we get people, because then they won't leave even if they don't want to be there, which is messed up. But I mean, there's like good things to it too, of like being connected and creating and telling stories and stuff. But
yeah, sure.
Just like I just think Instagram is their cultural stock is going down.
Yeah, so. Definitely, like the Titanic. Yeah, I think. But yeah, it like makes me think about like, I was just thinking about this the other night, kind of random, but like think about AOL, like when emails were a thing. Like AOL was like the first email provider, and like I'm sure at the time everyone was like, well, this is it, you know, like this is the company, and it was huge and so important. And then like Gmail came along and just like destroyed, absolutely massacred. Like it just takes one like media giant to disrupt like the social media game, and and I think it might already be happening. Like maybe TikTok is the next, I mean, it's already huge obviously, but like maybe it's going to be like really the leader of the pack for the next like decade. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's not even just that it's a giant that comes along. If the giant becomes the giant because it provides like a really good experience for people, right? Like it comes down to the product. And I think that's where the innovation is. Like, if you're not innovating, like actually innovating and not just copying people, like what do you have at the end of the day? You're just like resting on your laurels at this point. And that slips over time if you don't do something new and cool.
Right.
Like sucks to suck.
Yeah. I saw this graph. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I don't think I can, actually. I don't know where I saw it. It was honestly, I think it was just on Twitter too, which is like, I don't know the source, if the source is legit. But I saw something about actually, you know what? Do you know Graham Stephan? Do you know who that is on YouTube? It's like that real estate agent who like talks about money all the time. I think he posted it. And maybe I can find his tweet. But anyway, regardless, he posted this tweet of a graph that showed like Google's spend, and Google spends, here it is. Let me pull this up real quick. Sorry.
Google, like, they're like just like costs, or
yes, so like what money they spend on. Here, I'll show you. I don't know.
It's gotta be a big
this
number.
is really legit, to be honest. But
maybe a rumor.
Yeah. So
interesting.
So looking at this graph, you can see like how much they spend on what, and what his tweet was about, which I do find interesting, is the R&D here, research and development, is $10 billion, which is actually more than their marketing. And I think that's like a really important like thing to note, is that I feel like, yeah, like you have to spend the money innovating, or at least trying to, whereas I wonder if like Instagram is spending more money trying to make reels happen rather than trying to come up with a technology that makes reels happen for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I could see that. I mean, I feel like logically, in a way, that the thought process could be like, okay, TikTok is clearly a big thing. We're already a big company. We have a lot of resources. If we just put money into transferring that experience to our platform, then we should have like a decent market share. And so it like logically kind of makes sense, but there's so many other like variables that I think go into that, of like what people already know you as, like your brand perception, brand affinity, like what people were there for. So yeah, I do think like if you're not spending as much on research, of course it's just going to be like trying to make something happen by brute force. Wow, that is really interesting though.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how legit it is, but but it is interesting, especially because like in the same way that like I imagine Google does, like I don't know, like Google is such a household name that like you probably don't need to spend as much on marketing because people already use it, right? Like Instagram also had that like name recognition, and everyone used it. Like they probably didn't need to like, I don't know, be spending all this on like just trying to get people to use the feature if they just like made some cool things. But hey, easier said than done, I guess.
I mean, one thing I wonder though is like, will TikTok or Instagram survive longer? Curious people watching, put your answer in the chat. TikTok or Instagram will survive longer, because TikTok is obviously like getting really big now, but I wonder if they're like, I guess hearing all this stuff about Figma getting acquired by Adobe is like, what if someone tries to buy TikTok? Like, could Facebook buy TikTok potentially, right? Then it's like kind of solves the problem in a way.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wonder what
which
TikTok is worth though. Like,
I guess we could look that up.
Could they afford it? Recent estimates say that ByteDance has a valuation of around $275 billion.
Ooh, that's kind of big. Well, that's the whole company, right?
Yeah, that's the whole company.
Okay.
I just can't imagine that TikTok is less than like,
how much is
how much is Facebook worth? I don't even know.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. As of September 14, 2 days ago, it was 407 billion. So that's kind of similar. That like Figma was like 15 billion, Adobe's like 100 billion. So even, that's like, they could, like, I think they could if they wanted to, but it would be a huge bet, and they're already betting on a lot of big things. So
yeah, I just feel like that would be bad look too. Like I wonder if people would stop using TikTok because they'd be like, this is just going to turn into Instagram. And also I wonder if they would even consider like ByteDance, if they would even consider that, given that like, it seems like they're on track to like potentially overshadow Facebook.
Right.
Anyway.
It's like we're going to just like,
just beat them out.
That's fair.
Like,
that's fair.
Okay.
Well then, acquisition stuff aside, do you think TikTok or Instagram will survive longer?
It's a really hard question. Like, I could see like TikTok getting in some like privacy issue that like rocks the boat. Like maybe they start like regulating TikTok. You know, ByteDance is a Chinese company. I feel like we hear in the news all the time now of like fear of China and like spying and like everything. And it's just like, I wonder if that will ever amount to anything. Like I feel like that initially was like such a hot topic, and it's like sort of they've like avoided that PR disaster the past like year, but I wonder if that'll ever come back. But I don't know. I really don't know. I mean,
it's a hard question.
I think honestly, I think TikTok. I think TikTok. I do.
Interesting.
I do. I think they have.
I think
such a head start on the video, short form video. So.
I also just feel like Facebook the product is also not doing too hot.
Yeah.
You know, like they mostly rely on ad revenue. That's slipping consistently, I think. And then it's like, what do they have? I guess they have WhatsApp. They have all this VR stuff. It just feels like they're doing some really risky things. And sometimes I guess you do have to do risky things if you want to come out in the end. But I don't know. TikTok just feels pretty like it has a good foothold.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like speaking of, like the risky things that they do, I respect that more. I honestly do. Like the Metaverse thing. I know a lot of people are like, this is going to be terrible. It's never going to be a thing, blah, blah, blah. But I actually like respect that more than them just like trying to copy TikTok. I think there's a possibility that it does become a large phenomenon that like they could lead, and that would be a huge win for them.
Right.
But like, it just doesn't feel that way with Reels.
But it's also like, is the Metaverse stuff so far out? Like, are we so far from that being a reality that they could die in the meantime? You know?
I don't know. I have no idea.
This is stuff I worry about. I worry for Facebook. I worry for Meta.
Well, I'm sure they'll all be fine. Zuck will be fine.
Pivot,
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, it's been
y'all.
real, as always. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for chatting with us. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell so you guys always know when we're going live, which is usually Fridays at 10 a.m., except for next week, actually. Next week, we're going to do an afternoon show because we have a very special guest who can only come in the afternoon because he's like 13 years old. He goes to school. And maybe he's 14, and he's a super smart techie kid. So come and chat with us. Thanks so much for watching. Grace, it's been real. And
it's been real.
Talk to you guys next
y'all.
week.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.